The rand is flat so far this morning, ahead of a flurry of domestic economic data expected later in the day. Michael Treherne, portfolio manager at Vestact, joins us now for an overview of the latest market moves. Michael, good afternoon. The rand is muted in afternoon trade. What is driving this?
Yeah, afternoon to you and your viewers. I'd say Easter weekend, everyone's taking it slow, global markets included. Not much news coming out at the moment. It is worth pointing out that I'd say anything between 18.18 and 19.10 rand dollar exchange rate would be sort of normal trading range in any particular given day. So to be in that trading range shows it's not much going on. A bit of movement from the rand yesterday with the Reserve Bank's decision to keep interest rates the same. And then some comments from the US Fed, their central bank, also moving the dollar a bit, but in general muted.
Now, South Africa's private sector credit rose by 3.32% year on year in February 2024. Do you know what led to that increase?
Yeah, it's common to see these increases. Inflation's running at close to 6%, and food inflation is significantly higher than that. So to see people borrowing more money at a lower rate than what inflation's at is basically saying that banks are effectively lending out less money year on year when you compare it to what inflation's doing. Having said that, people borrowing money, it's South African consumers are struggling out there. And what we've seen from the retailers' results that came out in the last couple of weeks is that consumers in general are trading down to cheaper brands to help keep their monthly spending down. And I think that points to a consumer under pressure.
Now, annual headline producer price inflation softened to 4.5% in February from 4.7% in January. What should we make of this data?
Yeah, I'd say good news is the short answer. PPI, for your viewers, it stands for Producer Price Index, and this is the prices, the change in prices relating to manufactured goods effectively. And the theory is that what our manufacturing sector is doing leads to what consumers will spend in the next couple of months. And for PPI to come down from 4.7 to 4.5 shows that inflation is moving in the correct direction. And probably more pertinent is that it's at 4.5, which is the South African Reserve Bank's inflation target. And it just points to overall inflation in the economy hopefully slowing in the year ahead.
Now, pharmaceuticals firm Ascend Health reported a 5% decrease in revenue for the first 6 months. Talk us through what drove those declines.
Sure, that one's a messy one. Ascend Health was a rock star company on the JSE a few years ago. They went on a buying spree, raising a lot of debt to buy lots of different brands and companies. They effectively then ran out of money and was forced seller of a lot of their businesses, and the company is actually busy delisting from the JSE. The results themselves, as you said, 5% drop in revenue. It's worth noting, though, that the business swung from a loss to a profit. But to do that, it meant that they had to cut over 20% of their workforce. It's a very, very messy business at the moment. Would need some time to stabilize before I consider it as an investment.
Now, Mozambique's central bank became the first in Africa this year to reduce its benchmark lending rate at successive meetings. Give us an overview of the state of affairs in that country and perhaps how they fare compared to South Africa.
Yeah, so obviously yesterday the South African Reserve Bank kept our interest rates level at a 15-year high. But having said that, Mozambique's had those 2 drops, but it's not, they're probably in a worse position than we are. Their interest rates are over 17%, ours is around 13%, so it's still a bit of a gap. But Mozambique's inflation is at 4% at the moment, and their Reserve Bank feels that it's time to start cutting interest rates, which will probably be what most reserve banks are going to do at least once or twice on a global level this year. I wouldn't be surprised if the South African Reserve Bank cut rates in September.
Thank you very much, Michael, for your time and insights.